What's good, everybody? Mr. J here, and today we are getting right into the nitty-gritty of it today. Did Chrysler, the parent company of everything Mopar, the Mopar we all know and love, did Chrysler doom Mopar by selling its soul to the devil? What's good, everybody? Mr. J here, and thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be discussing something that's been heavily on my mind, as I'm sure it's been heavily on the mind of Mopar owners everywhere, as the future of our beloved brand is in pretty murky waters. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a clear picture of what is going on. Now, today is the eve of the big Dodge Charger unveiling, the new EV unveiling, which, for better or worse, like it or not, is going to be a monumental day in Mopar history. I will be covering that video tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. But, you know, as it stands, as far as Mopar goes right now, and more specifically this being a 300 channel, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty going on right now. We all just saw the Chrysler Halcyon video drop a couple of weeks ago. You know, they didn't really show us anything. They showed us a lot of hopes and dreams, didn't show us anything concrete, anything that we as, you know, a fan base can latch onto and grab onto and give us an indication of what the near future is going to look like, what the drivable cars are going to look like for us next year and the following years after that. So this Dodge conference tomorrow, this Dodge unveiling, should do a lot to clear up those waters. So I'm very interested to see what that's going to look like. What are they presenting with that? Now I'm hearing that, you know, initially I thought that that was just supposed to be an electric car. I'm now hearing rumor mill that there's going to be, you know, a couple different variants of this vehicle. It's not just going to be a EV, a BEV. Just given the limited history that we have with Dodge and the Hornet, how they approach the Hornet would seem fairly on brand and fairly intuitive to take, you know, the staunchest, hardest V8 owning motor core in America and, you know, just dropping them butt naked into BEVs, ease them into it with the twin turbo V6s and different options before going 100% EV. But it would go against Stellantis's mission statement, which shortly after Stellantis merged with Chrysler, they said they wanted the entire catalog to be electrified by 2028. If they maintain to hold true to that, we gotta buckle up and embrace for some major changes. And I think we've already seen quite a few major changes, starting with the cancellation of V8s at the end of last year. That's just the lube up right there. That's just the lube up. We're not even in the plunge yet. So the plunge is still to come. But tomorrow we'll do a little bit of unveiling of what that's going to look like. But getting back on track here, did Chrysler doom Mopar to this end? And specifically what I mean is, was the merger with Stellantis even necessary? It begs the question, does the parent company that has the most success with V8 engines, did they need a change? Why did they need a change? They were booming, correct? And now all of a sudden, they're not. Why is this happening? So if we go back to when the 300 first came back in 2005, Chrysler brings back the 300. The very next year, the SRT team goes to work on the platform of the 300, and they bring back the Charger and they bring back the Challenger. And since they brought back the Challenger and the Charger, those two have quickly risen to the top of muscle car fandom. Dodge, booming. Dodge is booming so much they're able to separate their trucks into its own umbrella and boom on both fronts. Dodge is booming, Ram is booming, Jeep, maybe not booming, but thriving. And then you have Chrysler. What does Chrysler do after bringing back the 300? Well, slowly, steadily, they just start declining. by canceling things that are on their lineup, not furthering reinvention, and it all kind of comes to full circle in what my conclusion was with that Chrysler Halcyon video. My conclusion with that video is that Chrysler ultimately has no direction. And I don't think that this is anything new for Chrysler. I think that this is something that Chrysler by and large has suffered since the success of bringing back the 300. The 300 has boomed all on its own. But as far as the rest of the brand, it's crumbled around them. And now the 300 ain't even available anymore. I think even if you look at the history of the 300 since 2005, I think you're really looking at a microcosm at Chrysler's really just a failure to adapt, a failure to carve out its own name, its own niche for just Chrysler. It's done very well as a parent company, but in terms of Chrysler, not so well. Several different cancellations. Ever since the 300 came back, we saw the Prowler go away. And yes, the Prowler was a Plymouth, but Plymouth was by and large gone at that point. The only place you could buy a Prowler was off of a Chrysler lot. The Aspen went away, you know, the Durango version of the Chrysler. The Aspen went away. Whatever the Chrysler version of the Magnum, that got cut. The PT Cruiser, which to me, ugly as hell, but had its own cult following. People still to this day customize that car. I don't know why. The 200. Notice that the 300 is a 300 and the 200 is a 200. But the 200 had a very short life, came and went. The 200 is probably the only thing new that they had ever done ever since the 300 came around. 300's been out since 2005. It ended in 2023. So it had a very long shelf life as far as, you know, a single model of cars goes for. But, you know, it did have a very good run. Now, if we look at the run, however, after the first 5 years, when it got its first and only refresh, Chrysler by and large did nothing with the 300 except take stuff away from it. Okay? We started out with SRTs. We started out with the S model. We started out with the C model. We started out with the 300 model. And by the end, little by little, all of that went away. 392 stopped being sold in the American market. The S model came and went, came and went, came and went. Then the 300 model came and went, came and went. And ultimately, the C also left. By the end, before the final C, the S model was the only model available of the 300, which, how can you make an S, the sport version, the only version? Especially for a company that tries very hard not to be a sports car, to keep the 300 a sports luxury car. Kind of puzzling, like everything that Chrysler has done. But ever since the point where the 300 came back and the 300 became one of the most popular selling cars on the road, Chrysler has really come to a stalemate. It seemed like on being a parent company rather than carving its name out as its own individualized brand. They brought back the 300, they started killing off everything after that and whittled the brand down to nothing while doing things like bringing in Alfa Romero, bringing in Mini Coopers. It seems like Chrysler has really not focused on itself and instead has just focused on its umbrella, which I think has really ended up costing them in the end. Again, we have one vehicle left in the Chrysler lineup. They haven't showed us anything of what they are going to do here future-wise. And it really just, it begs the question, why was the merger necessary? Was the merger only necessary to keep Chrysler's name relevant? Because it sure as hell seems like it. It really seems like it. You know, we're like I said, we're on the precipice of the conference tomorrow, which will let us know, you know, what the future is like. Are we going to jump ship, or you know, do we have hope for the future? Or is Mopar really going to be something that we're going to remember fondly as a thing of the past? I mean, right now, I have no choice but to really brace myself for the latter. They haven't shown us anything to really give me hope for the future, and nothing that I've seen on the Charger to date has changed that opinion. I'm not excited for that car at all. I am excited to see, the plans for the future, and they don't really sound very good. So, you guys are gonna have to get in the comments section. Let me know, what do you guys think? Did Chrysler sell Mopar? Did Chrysler Doom Mopar to save its own face, or was it a strategic move? Now, what is the strategy? What was the strategy of Chrysler? Now, going back again, like I said, I think that Chrysler was more focused on making parent moves than individualized brand moves, and I still think that holds true. I think that holds true with the entire Stellantis merger, because if you look at it, again, what was the question I asked earlier? Why, when your sister companies are booming, why would you further an interest in a merger? And it's really quite simple. Criticize them as you want, but this move was being very forward-thinking and being in tune with the winds of change. Every other major car company has at least some shape or form of an electric vehicle. Now, why is that important? It's important because look at how electric vehicles release. They don't announce them one day and the following year they come out. No, Tesla is still taking pre-orders on several different models that they've promised and have failed to deliver on. The Cybertruck most recently released after probably, 5 years since it got announced? The reason being is because these lithium-ion batteries, you're talking about creating a whole new infrastructure, a whole new pipeline, in addition to the manufacturing processes that you already have in place. It takes time. It takes capital, it takes a lot of infrastructure to pull that off. And Mopar hadn't even begun it yet. Not a single vehicle in the Mopar line had been electrified prior to the Stellantis merger. So, in the interest of Mopar, Chrysler's definitely looking at a future where they just don't go electric, which wouldn't be very sustainable for the future, as everything was looking with, Congress going against V8 engines and, just everything in general. It would have been a very bad move for them not to decide to go into an electric future when everybody was already committed to an electric future. So, in the face of trying to set up that infrastructure, which you're already behind the competition on, a merger or a buyout was, going to be the only options that, they were looking forward to catching up, having a chance to catching up to the competition. So it makes business sense. Unfortunately, right now, it just feels like they, on the wrong side of selling their souls to the devil, on the wrong side of a merger, because we all know that, Stellantis is calling the shots. Within a month of the merger, Stellantis announced that the SRT team would be dissolved and, mitigated. Think about it however you want. That was the first step to them taking over, them calling the shots. Cling to hope all you want, but the SRT team is gone. It's gone. That badge that they put on those cars anymore is simply an up badge. It's simply eye candy for you to get excited about. There was a day and age where that badge meant something. That badge meant that there was a team collected behind it within the interest of making that car the most awesome car they could. From building cars from the ground up, from the Viper to the Prowler, to taking cars that had already been built, like the Charger, the 300, and the Challenger, and building those out into 392s, Hellcats. All of that ingenuity is gone. Mitigate it as you want. Say that, they're still there, they're just doing... No, they're not there. They were a team. They're no longer a team. They've been spread out over the umbrella across all different brands, individuals aren't going to recreate what a team did on specific cars over what 14, 17 branches in the entire umbrella. It's just that's wishful thinking. Okay, not only that, but we saw what I think 14 of the team just, you know, they left altogether after the merger. They left, so that is indicative of itself. They didn't like that the team was being dissolved, so they quit, right? Now they're working for Chevy and Ford, who, you know, just recently said they will never stop the production of V8s. Coincidental? I think not. I think not. But anyways, you guys are gonna have to get in that comment section. Let me know. What do you guys think? Because, you know, this came up in discussion with my other videos. You know, we were talking about certain moves that were being made, and this really came to head. So let me know, did Chrysler Doom Mopar, or was this a smart move for the company? And more importantly, let me know what you think the future holds for Mopar as a whole. Like I said, the Charger is being unveiled tomorrow. We'll see what that holds. I will be doing a reaction video to that tomorrow and really kind of take a deeper dive into this and let you guys know what I'm thinking the future looks like, whether it's time to jump ship or, you know, if there's hope that, you know, an electrified future is something that, you know, Dodge can wrangle. Dodge has definitely handled everything so far and, you know, built a tried and true community. They didn't build a tried and true community off of stuff that didn't work. So if anything, that is the thing that we can hold on to right now. We can grasp that, you know, we can have faith that Dodge hasn't failed us yet. So why would we expect them to start failing now? All right. So until then, I'll get back at you guys tomorrow, let you guys know what's going on then. But get down in that comment section. Let me know what you think's going on with the future. Until then, I'm Mr. J. This is Gotham Hemi, and we out.